Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Diana the Happy Lawyer, 8 o'clock session at 8:05. I'm not 10 minutes late. I am 5 minutes late because I was helping a friend. And sometimes when you help people, you have to go at their pace instead of yours. And it can be difficult. Let me see if I can tone down this light. Yeah, not too bad. Good enough, as they say. So, welcome to Diana the Happy Lawyer. Hey, Danielle. Thanks for tuning in. Yes. So, I'm going to do the recap from last week. I always like the recap. Recap was something that we always loved when we watched Dynasty on Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock. You always had to go, and here's what happened last week. And so you'd get like the great little push for the new session. So here we go. Last week, the lesson was that Mardi Gras is for children and that you should be like a child. And we discussed what is it that children do that adults don't do. And the things that we talked about were children play. Children use their imagination. I talked about a study where adults were shown abstract pictures and children were shown the same abstract pictures, and the adults could only come with two or three ideas of what they saw, but the children could come up with about 10 different things. So children use their imagination much more freely than adults. Also, children are easily amused. It reminds me of there was this virtual reality game where kids pretend to be a chef or a short order cook or a mechanic or working in a 7-Eleven, and the virtual reality is kind of fun. They're like literally in there. If you've ever played virtual reality, it's a lot of fun. And the kids, somehow all they really want to do is take things and throw them at the customers. In the 7-Eleven, the kids would just take things and throw them at the customers, and the virtual reality game was very good. People would duck and go, ouch, and why'd you throw that at me? And we thought it was kind of funny that of all things, this is what the kids wanted to do. They didn't want to take money and use the cash register and add things up. They wanted to just throw things. And we figured that because in real life, they're not allowed to do that. In real life, you're not allowed to just throw things at people, and we let them do it because it was kind of funny. I've done it myself, throw things at people in the virtual reality. And I remember one of the kids, my friend's son, Danny, was watching it because you can see it on TV, and he was just cracking up. I mean, he was probably about 5 years old at the time, and he was just cracking up. He thought it was the funniest thing. And he was just rolling with laughter. He could hardly talk. She's throwing things at him. And just literally, just cracking up, almost tears coming out of his eyes because he thought that was the funniest thing. So kids are easily amused. I am a person who's easily amused as well. When you're easily amused in life is a lot more fun. Laugh at a lot of things. Laugh at yourself, most importantly. When you do something silly or you're trying to get something done and things are going wrong and forget your shoe or you put on 2 different color socks, whatever it is that you're doing, even if things are going a little wrong or a little crazy, just laugh at yourself. Don't get so frustrated and upset about, all the things that are going wrong. Just, take it on the chin and move on. Have a laugh about it. Children also don't talk themselves out of things that they want to do. They decide that they want to do something and they go ahead and do it. They don't come up with a million reasons why it won't work. If they want to build a sandcastle or a mud pie or a snowman, they don't, go through all the machinations in their mind of why they can't do it because they don't have the right shovel or the sand is too soft or the snow is too wet. They just go ahead and do it. They just go ahead and do whatever they want without letting those barriers or challenges interfere with their ability to get it done because they believe. They just believe that it can be done. When you're a child, children believe anything. I mean, children think that they can be astronauts. We talked about my friend's grandson, 4-year-old, that wants to be a chef. He really believes that. That's, something that in his mind, it's a totally doable thing. So these are the things that children do. Also, children don't worry. Children don't worry so much. Ernie, my friend, had a statement that when you worry, you make things happen twice. You suffer twice when you worry. My brother Stephen was talking about something. He was online this morning doing something really, really good. 12 minutes on living in the present moment and how difficult that actually is. And he was talking about worrying about a corporate review that was coming up in his job on Monday. This was a long time ago. Well, it's not happening now. So he's talking about the corporate review on Monday. And all weekend, he was anxious about it. On Saturday and Sunday, he was just thinking, oh, what are they going to do? They're going to look through my stuff. They're going to beat me up, all this stuff. And he was very anxious and worrying about the corporate review. Then when he got to work on Monday, they were there for about 5 or 6 hours, the people that were doing the review, and they were with him for about 3 hours. And it wasn't pleasant. They were asking a lot of questions. He was answering a lot of questions, so nobody likes to be put on the spot. But he realized later that for something that lasted 3 hours and wasn't so bad, my prior lesson about that wasn't so bad shows that you have too much anxiety anticipating what's going to come up, and things aren't always as bad as you believe they're going to be. So the 3 hours of review that wasn't so bad was something that he worried about for about 27 hours, all his waking time on Saturday and Sunday. So he worried for 27 hours about something that only lasted 3 hours. And he realized that that was not, something that was not beneficial. So he stopped worrying about it. When the corporate review was coming up, it was, okay, here comes the corporate review. Let's just get it over with. So kids don't worry unless somebody else tells them to worry. There's another lesson about how you live, your parents and the information that you get from your parents and grandparents. And all of them lived in a very different time than we're living in. So I'm going to discuss that in another lesson. But the last thing that I talked about that children don't do is they don't watch the news. They don't watch the news. Children don't watch the news. You don't let your kid watch the news, right? You put them to bed and then you watch the news. And I said last week, it's like watching a scary movie before you go to bed. You wouldn't watch a scary movie before you go to bed because you'd have nightmares. But by watching the news before you go to bed, you're basically watching a scary movie that is going to give you nightmares. What you put in your brain before you go to sleep ferments in there for the overnight, whatever it is, 8 hours, 6 hours, however long you sleep. So kids don't watch the news. And so I am encouraging you to not watch the news. Don't watch it before you go to bed. Don't watch it when you get up in the morning. Don't listen to it while you're driving to work. So this is what kids are not doing and that adults are doing. And if you feel that you have to know what's going on, you can listen for 20 minutes and you'll know everything that's going on. You'll be all caught up because the news is just a repetition on every channel. Same thing, 20 minutes long. All the talking heads that are putting in their input and their opinions. It's all a waste of time. Most of it is not based on any fact. It's just entertainment, and it's bad entertainment. But people get hooked on it because then they go to work the next day and they stand around the water cooler and they're starting to talk about, did you see that? What's going on in the news? I don't get involved in any of that. I don't watch the news. I've been at Mardi Gras for a week. There's a bunch of Mardi Gras beads. I've been at Mardi Gras for a week and I didn't hear any news. The news I heard was that it was going to be rainy a couple of days and cold in Mardi Gras, and that the parades were running on time. So that's the only news I paid attention to. You can definitely choose what you're listening to and what you're watching, and don't watch the news. So people say, well, what am I going to do if I don't watch the news? What am I going to do? So that's what we're gonna talk about, some of that tonight. And tonight's lesson, last week's tip, the tip from last week was to keep a pen and paper next to your bed so that at night, if you have anything frustrating you from the day, you can write it out on a piece of paper and just get it out of your mind, get it out of your system, literally. If somebody make you angry, or even if you're upset about the week that's about to start at work, I hate this week that's coming up, whatever language you want to use. Just get it out on paper and get it out of your mind before you go to bed, and you will sleep much better. I keep a pen and paper next to my bed. I very rarely have to scratch things at night because I'm usually just passing out from exhaustion. But sometimes I'll keep the pen and paper there if I have an idea, like a good idea. Or if I wake up in the morning and I have an idea or something that I dreamt about. Sometimes you'll wake up in the middle of the night and you'll have a dream and you'll be like, what the heck does that mean? And how many times have you woken up the next day and gone, what was that dream? I had a dream last night. It was so weird. What was it? And if you have the pen and paper next to your bed, if you wake up, you can write that down. So that was the tip of the week, last week, to make sure that you keep a pen and paper next to your bed or anywhere around the house. I have pens and papers all over the place so that if in case I get an idea or, an idea for the show or, the happy lawyer, or I've been texting my assistant, Annette. Hi, Annette. What do you think of this? 30-second thoughts. And what do you think of this? Thoughtful Thursdays or fun Fridays or different ideas that I'm coming up with so that I can at least get it down on paper. And here you go. Annette tells me always writing stuff down. It's just the easy way to do it because and what I've been writing down this week are my passwords for all the different things that I have that I need passwords for. It's very annoying. So the lesson tonight is how to live Mardi Gras every day. Oh, if you were watching last week, you saw me at Mardi Gras and you could see that it was just a total blast. I mean, from start to finish. And when you're a kid, you're, doing all that stuff in the street. I was saying that the kids in the street don't even know that Mardi Gras doesn't happen all over the world. They just, they think, well, what are you talking about? This is Mardi Gras. It's happening everywhere. So until they leave, go to college or something, they think Mardi Gras is all the time in their neighborhood. So for me, I love Mardi Gras. I get rejuvenated at Mardi Gras. I'm a little, as time goes by, it's harder and harder to recover from Mardi Gras. I'm a little, got a sore throat today, but I'll be fine. Because I think about how much fun I had. I think about how much just sheer joy that it was to be catching beads off the parade. These are beads that I caught. I didn't do any flashing, in case anybody's wondering. But I caught these beads. The guy just, threw them down to me. And there's lots of other things, tons of beads that I use to decorate my house. If you've ever gone or been at my house, I have beads on the fence. And people call my house the Mardi Gras house, which, pleases me no end because, it's just a feel-good thing. And when people walk by, I had a guy come by one day and he asked me about the beads. And I said, would you like any? Because I have tons. And he said, no, I don't want any. I just want you to know that when I go by here in the morning, it always makes me feel good to see the beads. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, that's like the greatest thing. Just knowing that my beads are making somebody happy. To just walk by. All I'm doing is putting them out there and it makes somebody happy. So Mardi Gras is over. It's in the past. But I can still think about all the fun that I had. And I can think about all the fun that I've had at past Mardi Gras. I was Grumpy Cat again this year at Mardi Gras, and it was a blast. Again, Grumpy Cat never ceases to bring the laughs and make me feel good. So that was where I had most of my fun, and I have most of my memories. And the memories start to just, flow together. I've ridden on parades at Mardi Gras. We've had cold Mardi Gras, hot Mardi Gras. I mean, when you go to 25 Mardi Gras in a row, they do blend together. But it's something that I can now go into the spring and I have that excited feeling of like a successful Mardi Gras. The last thing I do before I leave my house to go to Mardi Gras is I say, thank you, God, for my safe return from Mardi Gras. Because that's the most important thing. The most important thing is that I come home safely. So I affirm that before I leave. I say thank you for my safe return. And then when I'm home safe, it's a done deal. But now it's 352 days till the next Mardi Gras. Now, am I going to think about it every day? Maybe. I might. Yes, as we know, my cats run the house. So I might think about Mardi Gras every day, and people are going to be asking me about it next week. I'm going to be talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then when people come to my house in the summer, you know, I always have Mardi Gras beads. I bring Mardi Gras beads to parties, and it's just the most fun thing. So when I'm talking about living Mardi Gras every day, I'm talking about picking something in your life that is fun, something that you love doing, whether it's walking on the beach, whatever your fun moment is. And you can think about that instead of thinking about whatever negativity is going on, instead of thinking about something that you heard on the news or how dramatic and how, you know, this plane crash today, people, you know, shooting each other and dying in fires. I mean, it's endless, really. And you'll know if it's a slow news day because they'll say that somebody in, you know, England was on a train and got stabbed because they're running out of horrific news locally, so they'll go across the, you know, big pond or anywhere in the world that they have to bring you bad news because they just want to make sure that you get bad news. And people buy into it. People watch it. People, you know, base their day on it. People wake up in the morning, they get aggravated. They're driving and they're aggravated. They're listening to the news and they're aggravated. So how is it that kids are not watching the news? What are they doing that's not watching the news during the time that a lot of people are watching? Well, first of all, they're going to bed early. They're going to bed earlier. They're going to bed at 8, 9, 10 o'clock, whatever it is. Go to bed before the news comes on. That's a simple way to miss the news at night. If you watch the 10 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock news, go to bed before then. Go to bed at 5 to 10. Go to bed at 5 to 11. Or watch something funny. Seinfeld used to be on at 11 o'clock. I don't know if it is anymore. Big Bang Theory. A lot of people get a kick out of that. It's not one of my favorites, but you can watch that. Something funny if you have to. Replace it with the news. Don't watch the news before you go to bed. Also, YouTube. YouTube is like the craziest thing. There's some ridiculous statistic that I saw that it's like 300,000 hours of YouTube are uploaded every hour. So even if you had 5 hours a day that you're using to watch television, in the morning, if you watch for an hour, you have it on in the background. And when you get home at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, a lot of people, we used to eat dinner in front of the TV. We had TV dinners. They were fun. But we watched Star Trek and Lost in Space, I Dream of Jeannie. We never watched the news. So go to YouTube because, we are a society that is used to being entertained with video. And right now you're looking at me on Facebook. So if you're going to, a lot of these smart TVs have YouTube right in them. So just click on something. Click on something else that might be entertaining to you. It's gardening season is coming up. If you're a gardener, click on something, how to prepare the soil for plantings in the spring. Or if you like to cook, my cousin Kathy cooked some banana bread without the banana. I forgot what it was exactly, but she tried something new. She tried a new recipe. Go online and look up recipes. Go online and look up personal development videos. I've mentioned a lot of people already. Les Brown, Wayne Dyer, Jim Rohn, all of these people are really stupendous. And what I usually do is I'll just pick one that I like and I'll just let it play. And then I look for stuff that's like 20 minutes or less. So then after that 20 minutes, it just goes on to the next one. And then it goes on to the next one and goes on to the next one. And you might hear something different. It might lead to some Buddhist stuff, or it might lead to, someone's voice that sounds good to you. So keep your mind open, even while you're getting dressed. If in the morning you have the TV on in the background listening to the news, don't do that. Replace that with YouTube and listen to something good, or music. What about music? When you're listening to music, you really are living in the present moment. Again, my brother talked about this morning, how hard it is to live in the present moment because we're always thinking about things that happened in the past and we're always worrying about things that are going to happen in the future. So, yes, it's very, very hard to make your mind blank. It takes a lot of practice. That's why they call it practicing meditation, because it takes time to get to a place where you can sit and not think of anything. We've evolved as human beings over how many years to be thoughtful creatures. That's what separates us from animals. Animals don't have the how is this going to happen or why did this happen questions. They just go out. The deer just go out. They don't care. Why did it snow last night? Why is it raining now? They don't ask any of that stuff. They just go out and they pillage in the forest and eat and run from danger. It's I forgot what part of the brain it is now because my brain is not working on 100% from my exhausted week. But it's the limbic brain, I believe. That's the fight or flight response. So that's the thing that animals work on, and it's the thing that humans don't work on because we always want to know why did that happen and how am I supposed to get this done. So explore that part of the world on YouTube. Look for answers to questions. If you have a question, just type it right in. What do I do about, anything? How to get rid of a mustache or how to dye my hair or not that I get rid of mustaches or dye my hair. I don't have any of those problems. Of course, I'm just a natural beauty. But whatever it is, the value of things. If you're also, you can shop online instead of going out to the store. Go on eBay. Go on Amazon. There's lots of different things that you can substitute in place of the news. And when you're doing that and you're substituting the better thoughts, you're going to start doing that as more of a routine. That's going to become what you do all the time. And like what I do all the time, I don't even think about putting on the news. I don't even listen to the news in my car because they're always going to squeeze in some kind of animal abuse story in between traffic. The 3 minutes of traffic at 880 on the 8s and 1010 on the 10s, whatever it is. I used to listen to those traffic reports. It's 3 minutes, and right in the middle they would sandwich something horrible. Because they know that people are listening to that, and they want to get to you. They want to get to that visceral, horrible reaction that makes you upset and essentially go out and buy products that you don't need. So stop watching the news. I can't stress it enough. I haven't watched the news in a long time. Am I missing out on anything? I don't think so. I think that everything that's going on in the world, and I know what's going on in the world, it's just going to go on without me. There's what I'm doing in my life, making my life better and trying to help other people make their lives better. That's way more important and more valuable than what's going on in Congress these days or what's going on, in the streets or any place else in foreign countries. What is happening, Brexit. They'll report on Brexit. Yeah, okay, I know what Brexit is. Does it matter to me? Not really. Sorry for all you English people. But it's something that will occupy your mind, and your mind can only hold so much stuff. 100% is 100%. So you have to get rid of all of that negativity. Don't watch the news. Don't get in conversations with people about the news. I will be thinking about Mardi Gras. I will be thinking about Mardi Gras that I just had, and I will be thinking about the future Mardi Gras 352 days from now. And I have a thing on my clock that counts down to Mardi Gras. And people will randomly say to me, "Oh, Diana, how soon is Mardi Gras?" Because they know I go. And I'll say, it's 277 days. And they're like, "Well, how do you know that?" I'm like, "Well, because I have a timer on my phone that will just tell me when Mardi Gras is." So I can always be thinking about Mardi Gras. I can always automatically shift my ideas to Mardi Gras. Other things that I like to shift my ideas to, any vacations that you've been to, think of those. Because you are going to be thinking about stuff. It's very hard to not think. And when you're living in the present moment and you're listening to music or going on a hike or exercising. I actually did golfing once. I golfed. And it was very mind intensive. I liked it because you cannot think about anything else while you're golfing. When I'm fishing, I can think about a million things. But while you're golfing, there's really nothing else that you can think about except golfing. And I found it very relaxing because of that. Because when I was golfing, I couldn't think about any negativity or anything else that was going on. So I am highly recommending that you do not watch the news. Do not listen to the news. On your way to work, listen for 20 minutes and then put on music. Put on a song that you're going to sing to. That's when you're going to be enjoying the present moment. That's when your cares are going to go out the window. I've been referencing My Sharona, and I'm sorry to say that a lot of people don't know what My Sharona is. It was a song in the, I don't know, 70s or 80s that was very repetitious, and it became, it's what I refer to when I'm talking about repetition in your mind, going over the same thing. Don't go over things that worry you. Don't go over, don't replay the corporate review that's coming up next week in your mind. Don't go over it. And when it's done, it's in the past. It's gone. Don't replay how it went. Forget about it. Don't think about it anymore. Replace those thoughts with happy thoughts. You got plenty of happy thoughts. Vacations that you've been on. John Doyle. I see my friend John Doyle. He says he's Jack Doyle. I'll always know him as John Doyle. Friday night they were playing at the Viking in Islip, a bar that's been there forever. And it was the old band from Great River. I unfortunately missed it because I was just landing at 10:30 from New Orleans and I was exhausted. I thought it was Saturday night, but it was Friday night. But guess what? I know when he was up on stage singing and playing, and Joey Ocon was with him, and all the guys were there, and even my friend Linda was there, high school friends. They were not thinking about what's going on in the White House or the Senate or protests or planes crashing or anything like that. They were in that present moment where they were doing what they love to do. And that's what you have to find. Find that sweet spot. Find that sweet present moment. And go there whenever you need to. Instead of watching the news, go to the present moment and think of things in your future, things in your past, things that are going to just make you happy and change your thought, because you really can only think about one thing at a time. And you can get rid of those negative thoughts and just replace them with happy thoughts. Children, graduations, babies. My cousin just had another baby, 1 month old. I still haven't seen the baby. I got to go over and see the baby. And I really do want to see the baby when it's 1 month old because it's so tiny. I just want to, snuggle it while it's a little baby before it gets big because they grow fast. So there's tons and tons and tons of stuff in the world that can make you happy to think about, that can give you pleasant thoughts or calm thoughts or release anxiety. And that was actually not Mario. That was Irene going by Annette. But yeah, they're all, oh, there's Mario. He's over there. My cats don't even know what I'm talking about. They just hear me talking. I'm always talking. I'm talking to myself. I'm singing. I'm talking on the phone. They're just around me because they just like being around me. Animals. Oh, pets. If you're lucky enough to have a pet, a cat, or a dog, if you're lucky enough to have a dog, dogs are the ultimate unconditional love. I said last week, dog spelled backwards is God. That's no mistake. Walk with your dog. Pet your dog. Your dog will give you just love and feedback. If you're going to watch the news, turn it off and walk your dog. Comb your dog, whatever. Spend time with your animals. Spend time with your children instead of watching the news. Don't put the news on during dinner time. Don't have the news on while you're eating. If you're going to watch something else, watch something that the kids like. And I admitted that I'm a Star Trek watcher. I will play the original Star Trek in the background every so often. There's a lot of questions. I see this question all the time. How come when I'm laying on the couch watching TV, I can fall asleep, but then when I go to bed, I'm staring at the ceiling for 2 hours? And the answer is, when you're laying on the couch watching TV, no matter what it is, it's a familiar thing for you. You're in your comfort zone. Your subconscious brain is relaxed. And so that's what makes you fall asleep, because you're just listening to what's on the TV, especially if it's reruns. Most of the stuff is reruns. I fall asleep. I used to routinely fall asleep 5 minutes before the end of the detective show. It was crazy. It was like a habit that I'd watch until 5 to 10, and then I'd fall asleep and I'd wake up and it was 10 after 10. And I'm like, what happened? Who was the killer? I don't know. And it was a crazy thing, but it was something that I always did. I always fell asleep 5 minutes before because I was so relaxed. So that's why our generation is used to watching video. This is how we learn. This is how we communicate. And when you go into bed and there's nothing distracting your subconscious mind, that's when your conscious mind takes over and goes into overdrive and worries about a whole bunch of stuff that you're dealing with. So that is basically my lesson for this week, how to live Mardi Gras every day. Obviously, my Mardi Gras is real. I live my Mardi Gras every day. But whatever your choice is, whatever you decide that makes you happy, singing songs, playing music, playing with your children, walking on the beach, memories of vacations, the cruise you took last year, the cruise that you're planning for 6 months from now, going to the Grand Canyon, a lifetime trip, even if it's a trip that you don't expect to take, even if it's something that you don't know for sure if you're ever going to do, like a cruise to Alaska. A lot of people want to take a cruise to Alaska, and I've taken a cruise to Alaska with my dad. It was amazing. But you know what? Even if you don't think for sure you're going to do it, think about it anyway. Think about what it would be like to be on that cruise. Go on YouTube and look at the videos of Cruise to Alaska. And don't think like, oh, I don't know why I'm looking at this. I'm never going to be able to do it anyway. Well, with that attitude, you never will do it anyway. But if you put that thought in your mind and you think about it, what we think about, we bring about. So if you are thinking about positive, joyful things, then positive and joyful things are going to come to you. And you don't know how that trip to Alaska is going to happen if you just believe. And that's the other thing that children do. Children believe. And if you just believe that that is going to happen someday, then it will happen someday. You'll get to Alaska. And I can tell you for sure that watching the news and watching, all the shows, all the TV shows. I used to be a big Law and Order fan. I used to watch Law and Order all the time. It would be on from 5 o'clock until like 8 o'clock and back-to-back reruns. But I was a Law and Order fan, so I had it on in the background, or I might sit and watch TV or even work with it on. Until a friend of mine said, oh, Diana, is that the Chinese food delivery guy episode? And it was a horrible episode about some kids that gave a Chinese food delivery guy an address, and there was really no address. They just wanted to know what it'd be like to kill somebody. So that was the Chinese food delivery guy episode. And when he said, are you watching, is that the Chinese food delivery guy episode again? Because he recognized the sound. And I said, yes, it is. And I realized at that moment that I was wasting a huge amount of time by watching something that, first of all, I knew the ending to. Secondly, it's sad and depressing. Whoa! There you go. The universe is talking to me. The universe is saying, yeah, sad and depressing. Don't watch stuff like that. Don't watch, Listen, I watched Breaking Bad how many times? I don't know. But if I watch it now, I see it differently. And that was a good show. And there's a lot of good shows that come on. But you have to really, if you want to watch some of them, you can. But don't make it 100% of the time. You have to always balance it out with something that is bringing you positive energy and positive thoughts, especially before you go to bed. So read something positive. Listen to something positive. There's all kinds of nighttime meditations that you can listen to. Sometimes it's just sounds. Sometimes it's ocean, the sound of ocean. And it will just soothe you down from the day before you go to sleep. And you can listen to those things. So that's my basic lesson for the day. Live Mardi Gras every day. The 8:30-ish. I don't know what time it is. It's probably past 8:30. The wrap-up is, be like a child and think of childlike things and live them all the time. I think when you have to think about something, don't think about negativity or bad things that happen or the news or people that are sick or even your own sickness. Think about a wedding that you went to. Think about a trip you took or a trip you're planning on taking. Think about somebody's baby that's being born. Think about your pets. Think about your own children. You can only think about one thing at a time. So replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts and find what your Mardi Gras is. I'm going to be thinking about Mardi Gras for 6 months. And when the weather gets warmer and I'm going out dancing and when I get my act together and go out to the Viking at the right time to listen to 3-Chord Monty, I am going to be like living Mardi Gras again, because that's what Mardi Gras is about. Mardi Gras is about live music and having fun and just doing what you love to do. So, I might go out to see 3-Chord Monty and I might bring a whole bunch of beads with me because it'll be like Mardi Gras for me. I've never had anybody turn down Mardi Gras beads. So I will always, add that to my life, I'll always be thinking about Mardi Gras. 352 days till my next Mardi Gras. And 2 years from now, in 2021, Mardi Gras Day is my birthday, February 16th. So I'm already thinking about that one. I'm already thinking about 2 Mardi Gras from now, how much fun it's going to be when I'm in New Orleans and it's my birthday for Mardi Gras Day. So be like a child. Play more. Have fun. My cousin Kathy, I don't know if you're on, she said last week that she was watching Dirty Dancing, and I said, when the song comes on at the end, you got to get up and dance in front of the TV with your kids. And she said that she was going to do that, and that she in fact does do that. So, watch Dirty Dancing and dance with the kids, Footloose, whatever. So music that makes you feel good, shows that make you feel good. Or go on YouTube and just punch in anything. How can I feel better? There are tons of books now that Annette had a book called How to Stop Feeling Like Shit. I mean, that was the title. That was the title of the book because it's the question that everybody has. How do I stop feeling like shit? And the whole book was about how to stop feeling like shit, how to change your idea. I didn't read it, but I'm sure it's about how to change your ideas on and think about more positive things and think about things that are going to make you happy and things that are going to help you to grow whatever it is in your life that is. How about this? Whatever is bothering you in your life, think about what is the complete opposite of that. So if you hate your job and tomorrow's Monday and you got to go to work and you're like, oh my God, I hate my job. What is the complete opposite of that? Well, 2 things. One, not working at all because you're independently wealthy and rich. And you can think of that. I think about that all the time because, as we know, these are the archives of Diana the Happy Lawyer because I'm going to be a multimillionaire and super famous person. I'm like, the next Tony Robbins or whatever. Take your pick, Oprah. I'm just going to, I'll be on Oprah one day. She's going to reopen her daytime show just to have me on as a guest. Or maybe it'll be the nighttime show. Maybe it'll be Oprah at night with Diana, And the funny thing is, when people talk to me at the courthouse, they ask me my name, Diana Gianturco, but nobody ever gets the Gianturco part. So I always just say, oh, I'm Diana, like Cher or Madonna. I just have one name. Now, the funny thing is, I've been just saying that as a joke, but you know what? It's going to happen now. It is going to happen. People are just going to know me as Diana. And I've been speaking it into existence. I've been saying it over and over. Oh, I'm Diana, just like Cher or Madonna. I just have one name. And that's what my life is going to become. And I didn't even mean it that way. But I said it so many times over and over, and it plays so many times in my head as an automatic reaction that the universe is conspiring to just bring it into existence, to create it. It's creating Diana life, which, is tons of fun. And, if you ever want to speak to me privately on whatever, direct messaging or a phone call or whatever, if you need some private discussion on specific things that you want to talk about, to get a little bit of a Diana spiel, oh, how can I deal with this specific thing? Because it's impossible for me to go through all of this stuff, what everybody has as specific needs in a half hour, which always runs longer, to get to them. So if you need to reach out to me privately, you absolutely can. There's no problem. I want to just end by talking about this book that I bought. I've been listening to it online as well. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell. Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. I don't know if it's coming up. It looks backwards. It looks backwards. So I've been listening to this on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and it takes about 10 hours to listen to. But you know what? I bought the book because I want to write and make notes in it because it's so good. It's really like school. And Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon. And in like the 50s or 60s. And he would do plastic surgery on people. And he noticed that people would get plastic surgery and some of them would be like, their whole attitude would change. Their whole self-image would change when they had the plastic surgery because they looked differently. But there was one young girl who had a horrible scar on her face, and he did the corrective surgery, and she said, it looks the same to me. I don't feel any different. And he said, what are you talking about? It looks the same. Here's the before picture and here's the after picture. And she looked at them and all her family was going, what are you talking about? The scar is gone. And she said, yeah, but I don't feel any different. And when he heard her say, I don't feel any different, he realized that self-image is not just what your physical appearance is. It's what you internally think about yourself. And he started to investigate how people's idea of their self-image was creating the blocks in their life. Now, our self-image starts as children. And this is a whole nother lesson that's going to be, this could be like 10 lessons. Your self-image. Just go on YouTube. Type in psychocybernetics, Maxwell Maltz. Type in, how do I improve my self-image? Type in anything. I sometimes, depends on how much time I have, I'll look for the 30-second clip or 3 minutes or whatever it is. And I'll sometimes listen to the same thing over 2 or 3 times, because repetition, again, is the key to learning. Because the thoughts that have repeated in your head all of these years have to be reversed, and all of that repetition in the negative is going to take some time to rewind and erase those or record over them. So you're not going to be able to just do it with one shot. Okay, I'm going to be happy, and then wake up. Maybe you can. It's easier for some people than others. But your self-image and how you perceive yourself is going to be one of the most important things. One of the best lines that I know from this book is, positive thoughts and positive action don't have any consequence if you have a negative self-image. Positive thoughts only work if you have a positive self-image. Positive thoughts do not work if you have a negative self-image, because that negative self-image is in your subconscious mind. And I mentioned in the past how important the subconscious is. It's in charge of breathing. It's in charge of blood flow. It's in charge of heart pounding. It's in charge of everything we do that are the biology of life. And yet we just disregard it, like, oh yeah, my subconscious mind takes care of all that breathing and respiration and heartbeat. I don't have to worry about that. But guess what? Your subconscious mind is that important. That's why it does all of that stuff. And that's why you have to pay attention to your subconscious mind and see what it is that you're replaying over and over in your head, in your subconscious mind. So try and get this book. It's 10 hours on YouTube, or if you buy it on Audible. So 10 hours. This is what I recommend. Listen to it on the way to work. If you have a half an hour drive, listen to it in the morning, a half an hour. Listen to the same half hour on the way home. So you hear it twice and you get the repetition. Half hour on the way. If you have an hour drive, listen for an hour. If you listen a half hour in the morning, half hour at night, next day, half hour, in about 2 weeks, you'll finish this book while you're driving to work. And then do it over again. Listen to it over again. I've had it playing in my house on the whole weekend. I'll just put it on Saturday morning and I'll let it run through while I'm moving around. And then I'll put it again on Sunday morning and I'll let it run through again. And I always hear something like, what did he just say? And I'm always writing stuff down. Like, it's not positive thinking. It's positive doing. The positive thinking isn't enough. You have to positively do stuff. Like, I'm positively on Facebook on Sunday nights. It's very exciting for me. And it started with positive thinking. And I could have thought, oh, yeah, I could do that. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. But until I actually positively did it, it didn't change anything. So the positive doing is what's really good. Yes, my cats. My cats are wonderful. I love them so much. So that's going to be, it's a little bit of a trickier tip for the week. I think the tip for the week will be to substitute in at least a half an hour of YouTube video instead of the news before you go to bed. That's going to make a big difference in your life. And also, just wait. When you wake up in the morning, don't automatically turn on the news. Don't automatically jump on your news feed. Or, you know what, if you're going to jump on and do a little recording of yourself. Like, tape yourself. We all have video on our phones. If you're going to pick up your phone before you start looking at your emails and start looking at, what horrors happened overnight that are going to be stuck in your brain, because when you wake up in the morning is when your brain is the most susceptible to anything. It goes into your subconscious mind because you're on like a theta wave. That's another science lesson. You'll get that stuff right away. That's like if you wake up in the morning and you hear a song, if you have your opportunity clock set for music, and you wake up and you hear a good song, that song will stay in your head all day, because early in the morning your brain is set to be hypnotized, basically. So don't listen to bad news in the morning. But take out your phone instead. We all reach for our phone. I know I do. And I try to just put it down and go into meditation. I look at the weather because I want to know if I can walk. But you know what? Pick up your phone and just record yourself for 30 seconds. Just look into your video camera and say, whatever it is. If you say, I feel like crap today, say, I feel like crap today. Whatever it is that gets you out of, your own mindset as soon as you wake up. If it's something happy, I feel great. Something great is going to happen to me today. I always say that. I wake up in the morning and I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I just say 3 thank yous. Wayne Dyer says, thank you, thank you, thank you. How may I serve? So that's something that I do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How may I serve? And then the answer comes. And while I'm serving other people in the universe is serving me. And giving me amazing things like a trip to Mardi Gras every year. I mean, I bought a timeshare. It came to me. I wasn't really looking for it. But the timeshare for Mardi Gras week came to me when somebody that I was renting it from, and then she said, hey, do you want to buy it? So now I have Mardi Gras week every year for the rest of my life. And assuming the building is still there, I can donate it. I can leave it. I can leave it like as an inheritance to somebody. So it'd be nice to me. Maybe I'll get my Mardi Gras week when I'm in another dimension. But so that is the tip for the week. Substitute in a half an hour of positive YouTube videos. Also, you know what I used to do sometimes before I go to bed? Watch funny cat videos or funny dog videos. Or don't watch those fail compilations where people are getting hurt. That is not something that you want to do. Watch happy things. Watch things that are going to make you laugh. I'll watch a cat video, I tell you, for 10 minutes. And there's a couple of cat videos that I will just laugh and laugh and laugh and just replay it. Because some of these things that animals are doing are just too funny. And when you're doing that and when you close that and you go to bed with that laughter in your mind, then that is what is going to ferment in your brain overnight while you're sleeping. So make sure to do that. That's going to be the tip for the week. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. As I mentioned, I ran in after helping a friend, so I just kind of jumped on and jumped in. So live Mardi Gras every day. Whatever your Mardi Gras is, live that every day. And push out negative thoughts and replace them with happy, positive thoughts, because there's just as much good out there as there is bad. And the only thing you really have control over is what you think about. Nobody can force you to think about something. Only you. You're the only one that can be forced to think about something. Well, while you're driving, while you're at work, you have to think about what you're doing. But in your leisure time, in your spare time, you can change your thoughts and change your vibrational waves. And, the whole law of attraction, like attracts like. If you have positive thoughts, you'll attract positivity. If you have negative thoughts, you'll attract negativity. So swap out news. Don't watch it. Kids don't watch the news, and they're way better for it. And, unless somebody shows it to them, they ain't never going to know. And listen to positive YouTube stuff. And read this book. Get it online. I bought it. It was like $15 or something. You can order it online. I'll never go to the store again to try and find a book. It took me 3 stores to find it, but I was determined, so I did get it. But listen to Psycho-Cybernetics. I wish that I had listened to it before I started my study of self-development for 7 years. Because after I was studying personal development and self-development for 7 years, then I heard about this Psycho-Cybernetics. I heard about it before, but I never really read it. And now it's kind of like I feel like I have to reevaluate everything that I learned, because there's so much good stuff in this book about what makes you tick. It's really earth moving. You'll be like, wait a minute. I had it on one day. Like I said, I played on Saturday and Sunday. A woman came in and she was like, what was that we were listening to when we walked in? I'm like, oh, Maxwell Maltz Psycho-Cybernetics. She's like, oh, that sounds really great. I think I want to tell my students about that. She was a teacher. And then the next day, Sunday, somebody else came in and I had it playing, and she was like, what is this? What's going on? And he was talking about when a woman got a promotion at work and she felt like she was not deserving of the promotion, that somebody else should have gotten the promotion. And so she, even though she got a promotion and it should have been a happy thing, her self-image that she was not deserving was overriding the joy, and she felt bad that somebody else didn't get the promotion. The woman that was in my house said, this exact thing just happened to me. I just got a promotion at work and I feel like I don't deserve it, and it should have gone to somebody else. Hey, you know, the universe reaches out to people and works in mysterious ways. I'm trying to reach out to, you know, as many people as I can. I haven't had any coffee today because I'm recovering from my Mardi Gras. You know, my Mardi Gras trip. Every year it takes a little more out of me to recover, but 2 days is enough. So no coffee, just relaxation today. And so that's about it. I'm going to wrap up. Does anybody have any questions? I'm looking. Oh, Wayne Dyer and Anthony Robbins. Yes. Oh, me? Yeah. Are you saying I'm the new Wayne Dyer? Oh, my God. If you don't know who Wayne Dyer is and you're listening to this, you have to look him up. You have to, Wayne Dyer, W-A-Y-N-E-D-Y-E-R. He wrote a book in the 80s called Your Erroneous Zones. And Your Erroneous Zones sounded like an obscene book, and he even joked about it, and he was on The Tonight Show. And Your Erroneous Zones are all the, and I haven't read it. Please, there are like a dozen Wayne Dyer books that I haven't read or listened to. But you can just click Wayne Dyer. He does meditations. He does so many amazing things, and he's really just terrific. Excuse me. Ugh. This is my Mardi Gras post-nasal drip. Anyway, Wayne Dyer. He passed away it's going to be 2.5 years. In August, I think it'll be 3 years. And oddly enough, he has affected me more since he passed away. If you go on my website, you'll see the DianaTheHappyLawyer.com. There's a story of me meeting Deepak Chopra at the insistence of Wayne Dyer after he passed away. So it was really, I call it a closed circuit in the universe. I literally closed a circuit, and I sent a message from Wayne Dyer to Deepak Chopra. Even talking about it now, the hair on the back of my neck is standing up because it was truly a spiritual thing. But someone like Wayne Dyer is going to affect generations forget it, eons. He's affecting me, and I'm going to affect other people. So he's going to definitely be, carried on. So I am honored to think that anybody would even compare me to him. That'd be using the same sentence. But Tony Robbins, too. Everybody knows Tony Robbins. Great guy. He's got a lot of great stuff. All of these guys. A lot of people you've never heard of. Probably Bob Proctor. He was in The Secret, but you probably never heard of him. Neville Goddard. I just sent somebody audio today called Neville Goddard, Believe It In. And I mentioned it last week. Grandfather used to stand on an empty lot and say, I remember when this was an empty lot. And then he would paint a word picture of the building that he was going to build on the empty lot, and it would come into existence. I do that remember when game a lot. So it's like, I remember when I was stuck in traffic and I couldn't get to work. When you're in traffic, it's happening right now. But when you say, I remember when I was stuck in traffic and I was having trouble getting to work, you automatically propel yourself into a different state. Even though you're still sitting there, even though it's going on. I remember when, I was stuck online, waiting for my car to be repaired. I remember when I had a crappy job that didn't make any money. I remember when I could barely afford the rent in my 1-bedroom apartment. And now I live in a beautiful condo on the ocean. And you just put in whatever your desired wish is. You just supplant what's going on in reality with what you want to go on and say, I remember when my reality was happening, but now I'm already past that onto a future goal and future joy that will replace what's going on now. It's a really neat trick, and it works. It works all the time. Whenever I go, I remember when I used to live in Florida and travel back and forth to work all the time to New York. And now that's going to change. There's all kinds of things that you can use that for. So I'm starting to go in circles, and I'm tired, and my throat is starting to go on me because It's been a long week. I'm still, you know, living my Mardi Gras. These are all things, all beads that I caught. This one's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it. It's just really beautiful. And here's a glass one. But if you go on my page, you'll see a whole bunch of Mardi Gras beads that I grabbed this year. And this one too. Great Mardi Gras beads. So find your Mardi Gras. Find what makes you happy and live it every day, and replace your negative thoughts with your Mardi Gras thoughts, and live on the good. That's the most important thing. Live on the good, and you will attract more good by virtue of doing that. Okay, I'm signing out. Goodbye, Ken. Goodbye, Holly. Goodbye, Marisol. Goodbye, Annette. Goodbye, Jane. Who's that little face? Goodbye, Ernie. I see a whole bunch of little face. Now, this gentleman, I'm going to screw up his name. I called him Tobraya, but it's Torabia. I know he's in here somewhere. Oh, who is that? Felicia. Okay, so Annette, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Diana the Happy Lawyer. I'm not sure what the lesson will be, but it'll probably be something that has to do with self-image and psycho-cybernetics, because that's something that I can talk about forever. And we need to learn about it forever, because our self-image is something that changes all the time. You know, if you do something that you're upset about, you know, you could take it out on yourself, or you could be mad that something didn't go your way and you take it out on yourself. We're our own worst critics. We block ourselves more than anything. And that's because of our self-image, thinking that we don't deserve something, or, you know, we're not good enough to do something. So I will see you all next week. Have a wonderful week. Don't watch the news ever, if you can. I don't ever watch the news. I came back from a weekend where a bomb exploded in some place. I won't mention when it was. And somebody said to me, oh my God, didn't you hear about what happened? And I said, no. What bomb? And it had happened on like Friday or Saturday, and now this was Monday. And they said, what, have you been living under a rock? And I said, yes, I am living under a rock. A big, beautiful, happy rock where nothing ever goes wrong. And you know what? It doesn't make me a bad person. In fact, it makes me a better person. I like my rock. I like living under my rock. I don't need to be affected by horrid news. I don't need to know all of that stuff. That stuff happened without me, and it's going to unhappen without me. So I'm sorry if that sounds cold, but I would rather spread happiness and joy and teach people how to do that. And then maybe that will become the news. And all of this negativity will be, you know, lessened. I'd like to imagine that. Remember when the 11 o'clock news was nothing but horrible stories about corruption and murder and stuff like that? Remember when that was? Yeah, that was a long time ago. Because now we instead listen to happy and soothing things at 11 o'clock before we go to bed. So, on that note, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. And I love you all. And love is all you need. Bye.